Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 77. We now seem to be down to about 2,000 increase a day. Things change. Please make sure that you check my website to make sure that you're keeping safe and adapting as best as possible. Do subscribe to my website, to YouTube here, if you want to get updates of when the videos actually arrive. Yesterday was amazing. I wasn't here. I left it to the kids, my kids. And it was much quicker than when I do it. So I think there's something to learn there. Righty-ho. So if you want to bring yourself into all fours. So nice comfortable all fours position, a little bit of space between your hands. You're going to start by just sliding your hips from one side to the other side. So slightly lazy, easy movement. So just allowing the hips to come to one side, space in that side of the waist, and then to the other side. And then back to the centre. We're going to do a version of cat pose today. So to start with, we're just going to bring ourselves to a normal up and down sort of a movement. But trying to think about the movement be more than up and down, more like rolling up and rolling down. So you're just going to go in and out with your breathing. So let it feel natural for you. Often it's helpful to breathe out as you lift up through the tummy and up through the back of the waist. But let it be natural for you so it feels good and you just go with your rate of breathing rather than how I'm moving. To start with, you're going to get that feeling of space coming up through the spine as you arch up. So we're going to look for that kind of fluid feeling of movement in the back. And whilst you're doing this, you can let your head come down. You can really arch up and into the shoulder area as well. And then we're going to start to focus on the area of the pelvic floor so that as you're beginning to arch up, you're lifting through the pelvic floor, through the tummy. And that's the movement that's almost setting off that rolling up in the hips. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this into a rolling cat. So a kind of moving forward and back cat. So as you arch the back of your waist up towards the ceiling, get that little lift in the pelvic floor, lift in the tummy. Start to draw your hips slowly back towards your heels. We're going to go nice and slowly so you can feel each little area of it, and then let your elbows come down and onto the ground. And normally you'd be inhaling to creep yourself forwards along the hands and back and into all fours, where we would start our exhale again, rounding the back up. Slowly and steadily, slightly bringing your hips further and further back towards your heels. And then the elbows settle down. As you inhale, slowly creep yourself forward so you get a nice arch in the back. A little bit of work in the arms. And you're going to do that a couple of times. So now we're going to try and focus on natural breathing. So you might find the movement speeds up a little bit for you first. So inhaling forwards. Exhaling, lifting through the pelvic floor, the tummy, the back of the waist, and arching gently back. And just notice how your breathing responds to working this way. It's usually a really good way to waken up your breath and the back of your body too, obviously. Whilst even strengthening the front. It's a fabby one. And then bring yourself into all fours. We're going to come up to standing now, so if you want to walk your hands back towards your feet, you're going to lift up through the hips, fold forwards and rest onto your thighs so that the body can be just restful and forward folding. And then bend through your knees, lift up through your pelvic floor, up through your tummy, hands come all the way up and overhead and then down to your heart. We're going to come to a standing pose now, so you're going to bring yourself onto your mat so that you're nice and comfortable. We're going to do a version of Warrior 3 pose. This is a little bit of a playful one that I quite enjoy. So you're going to start by bringing yourself really in small and close. So your knee is bent in. Now it might be that this is not possible, that you actually want your foot to be on the floor and you want your hands to be wide. But you're going to bring yourself into as small as possible with your hands towards prayer position. And then slowly from here and again, touch the floor whenever you need to. You're just going to grow yourself out and away. And then bring yourself all the way back in and to standing. Hands come wide all the way up and overhead and down to your heart. Then we're going to do the opposite side. Just make sure I'm in the right sort of position for you. So small and tiny to start with. So on one leg, supporting knee a little bit bent. Allow yourself to have those little changes of position. Just try and even them out. And then when you feel ready, slowly start to creep yourself out and away and into Warrior 3. And then hands come slowly in, back towards your heart if comfortable. Feet find the floor, stretch up and bring your hands to your heart. We're going to do one more on each side. So we're just going to start to flow naturally for you. So creeping in to make that little small shape. You can come as small as possible and then slowly extend out into Warrior 3 or Virabhadrasana 3. And then creep yourself back in again. Find the floor, stretch up and overhead and to the heart. And then one more time. So again, you're just making yourself as small and kind of closed in as is comfortable. And then from here you can start to lengthen out. Find your pose. And then come in, become I'm going for a wobble. Come into that tiny little space again. Feet find the floor. Stretch up and find your heart. We're going to come down to the floor now. So if you want to bring yourself to comfortable sitting with your knees to one side. So you're going to have your knees to one side so that we're just resting our feet in a natural way at the moment. So I'm going to have to move that again. Let's do that. So from kneeling with your feet on one side, so just in that natural way, what we're going to do is we're going to allow this top foot, if it's comfortable, to start to face back the way. So it rests into the sole of the other foot. This leg becomes like this straight, long, lengthening out. And from here you might want to be up on a block or two so it's more comfy. As ever, there should be no stretching in the soles of the feet. No stretching in the knees. So the knees need to be just really, really relaxed and neutral so that the stretching is coming into the hips, into the thighs, absolutely, but not into the knees. From here you're going to take one hand, we're going to come in towards our feet, so one hand's going to be onto your knee area, other hand's going to come onto the floor. You're going to get that feeling of that little lift up through the back of the pelvis, a little lift up through the tummy, and that's what's going to bring us, or start to bring us comfortably round with really nice alignment. And then you're going to bring yourself in towards the centre and to the opposite side. So we're going towards the open space this time. Bringing yourself back towards the centre. And we're going to swap over. So to do this, you can take your hands onto the floor. You can roll your knees up and bring them over to the other side. And then once you've come to the other side, you're just going to do the same thing. Just being mindful of ankles, particularly for this as well. So that those back toes can just fold, top foot can just fold back. And you really want there to be a nice even alignment through the back of the ankle so we've not kind of collapsed in or done anything too creative with our feet. You're going to let your front hand come onto you're going to come in towards your toe, in towards your feet. So front hand is going to come onto your knee. We get that little lift up through the tummy, that little lengthening through the back of the waist. Then we can easily come round towards the open space. Just seeing if your head wants to just gently follow. And then bring yourself very, very smoothly back into the centre. And you're going to come in towards your own thighs. So we're going to come towards or away from your feet. And can gently find your knee in the floor. We're very light with the hands so that we're using the centre of your body to move. And then bring yourself back to the centre. You're going to let your feet come out and give them a little bit of a move around. And then if you want to bring yourself to however you would like to be, to do a little bit of breathing. So just a comfortable position for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our little sniffs into the pattern of breathing that I think some of you will very much remember. So it's really important, the little sniffs in can be just a little tiny one. You can just do 1 or 2. You can do a little bit more, but just make sure that your breathing has a nice rhythm and an easy quality to it. So the quality of your breathing is far more important than what you're doing with your breathing. So it's really important that we are, if you like, exercising our breathing or expanding our breathing a little bit beyond our natural breath, but that we're not making it tight or hard or uncomfortable. We're wanting to get that kind of open, slightly more awake feeling in our breathing, in the physical body, in the energetic body, and obviously in the breath. So we're going to do those little sniffs in. So easy out. Little sniffs again. Out. And one more time. And then let your breathing just settle back to whatever it wants to be right now. So my challenge for you today is to find a mudra. I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to suggest that you sit like this for 30 seconds, 5 minutes, just whatever suits you. There's loads and loads of mudras for all sorts of different things, and they're really quite nice. All they are is hand positions that are, hopefully, the intention is that they will help another aspect of your life. And this one, I would normally do it way back here so that I've got my hands just comfortably in my lap, which you still can't see. Here we go. So one hand just rests into the other, and then the thumbs just very, very lightly join. And the hands are just kind of resting into one another. The shoulders relax, elbows are soft as well. So I'm going to show you it closer, and if you want to try it, so the hands just set on top of one another, and then the thumbs are just lightly joining. And this is a mudra that's often used for meditation or for gently focusing the mind so that we can get that feeling of focus, but without losing the whole picture. So it's not like this, not really tight. So you can have a play with that, see if that has any effect on you whatsoever. And if it's fantastic, then you can go on the internet and find all sorts of other mudras that you can enjoy as well. And my quote for you today, this is from Tsuruya Suzuki. Life is like stepping onto a boat which is about to set out to sea and sink. I hope you love it. I love it. It's a little bit of pathos, isn't it? And we are physical bodies. We won't last forever. That's the kind of message that I really enjoy in this one, and I hope you do too. Life is like stepping out onto a boat which is about to set sail out to sea and sink. Brings me back to my dad's advice, which was about coronavirus when this all kind of started kicking off. He said, well, some of us are going to live and some of us are going to die, and we just have to enjoy it in the meantime. And as his daughter, I was like, wow, okay, Dad. But as life advice, it's pretty damn good, I think. So, yeah, I hope you find some helpful life advice for you. And if that doesn't work for you, then let it go. Let it go, come back to what does work for you. Thank you.